In this lesson, we are going to talk about the power of forgiveness. We are going to learn. Let me redo that. In this lesson, you're going to learn about the power of forgiveness. Learn what forgiveness is, what it isn't, and how to release past hurt through using forgiveness. So let's get started on why forgiveness. I've learned about forgiveness more recently in my adult life. Forgiveness is not a concept I was very familiar with from how I was brought up. But I got this very lucky encounter of this lady who introduced me to forgiveness, and I got to learn quite a few things about it. So to me, it is a number one tool to let go of the past hurt. It's it is a process of emotional release and letting go. Forgiving is a decision. It's a decision that you take consciously. You do it for yourself. You do it for your own peace of mind. Because if you wait until someone admits their faults and beg you for forgiveness in a heartfelt way, this expectation may not be very helpful to you. You may wait an entire lifetime, and still not receive the apology that you crave for. And bearing a grudge only harms you. One of the women in my family was abandoned by her dad when she was age 5. She never saw her dad all her life, and now she's almost in her 60s. And this feeling of abandonment was very hard, and she did bear a grudge on her dad. Like, how is that possible? Why did he abandon me? I was just a child. Why did he just walk away and never come back? And it's left a lot of scars and deep questions within this person. And when I mentioned forgiveness, like, how about you decide to forgive him? And she was like, well, no, he was wrong to abandon me. I was only a kid. And she was holding on to the pain, and she didn't want to let go of the pain because she thought that forgiving him meant that it was okay, that what he did was okay. I'm not talking about that. You can let go of your pain, of your burden, and decide to forgive the human being for the pain they have caused you, whether they caused this pain consciously or unconsciously, intentionally or unintentionally. The emotional suffering is within you. And that's why I think forgiveness is so powerful. It doesn't mean you forget. It doesn't mean you downplay the hurt or you pretend it was never there to start with. It doesn't mean that you no longer believe in having this person be accountable for their actions. It doesn't mean that that it's okay for you to be walked all over by this person. No, it means to relinquish the emotional and spiritual pain that you have experienced in the past and to be free of it in the present. You let go of the burden. It means freeing yourself of the bondage from the past, and that you take a decision that in the here and now, you are free from the pain. It is true healing. And so I'll introduce you to an exercise very shortly that was given to me as a gift. And I'll talk to you about it in a minute. So why forgiveness? We talked about this, is to heal your heart. It's an emotional release. It's for you. It's not for the other person. You don't even need to tell them that you forgive them, but you have to take this decision for yourself. It's not an intellectual process. It's not logical of trying to try to find some reasons for why the person did this or that and why you reacted this way. The pain is emotional. You tackle it at the emotion level. And expressing these negative emotions is a good thing. You don't want to keep it all bottled up or pretend it was never there to start with. So I'm all for expressing negative emotions. However, hurting another human being is not. So we are not going to go about and tell you blah 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 beep beep. You did this to me. You beep beep beep, and you are such a beep beep beep. I think you can fill in the blanks here. It's not about attacking another person because that's not. It's good. It might make you feel good. The emotional release right there of like blurting it all out onto the person who's harmed you. Um, but it's not really healing your heart. And that's what I want for you. So let me introduce you to your forgiveness letter. Writing a forgiveness letter to someone is a very powerful tool. And I was introduced to this when I was in my mid-20s, maybe. I just had a heartache. I had loved this man very deeply, and it did not work out. So, after I probably mourned this relationship about a couple years. I was so sad about it and heartbroken because in the end, he did not choose me, and I was very painful. So this lady that I met, a friend of the family, Natalia, she was very intuitive. And first of all, she got to tell me, you have never been the number one in somebody's heart. And I was like, oh my gosh, I think she's right. I was always second, or I was never a priority in another person's heart in terms of one-on-one relationships, intimate relationships. So that was really powerful. And then she said, hey, what I want you to do is to write a forgiveness letter to this gentleman. And that's what I'm going to introduce to you, because I did write this forgiveness letter to him. And I did use this as a process to release my own pain. And later on, I got to write a forgiveness letter to other people in my life who have been causing me some emotional distress in the past and sometimes still in the present. And I've used this technique multiple times to release myself of old bondage. So let me introduce you to the process here. You're going to take a piece of paper, several sheets of paper, I would suggest loose. Take loose pieces of paper, and you're going to start the letter with the name of your partner here. This is a forgiveness letter that you're going to write to your partner. You are not actually going to give it to him. It's a process you're doing for yourself. And you probably need 2, 3, maybe 4 pieces of paper, if not more, depending on how much tension and pain and suffering you've had in the relationship. And something else to know about, so you need a pen, of course. This process, you need to be all by yourself. No distractions, no interruptions. Turn off your phone, turn off all your devices. You take the pen and paper. It's just you and the hurt, and you're going to face this hurt. And it's going to be such a powerful release for you. But you need to have the time and space to be in the process for it to be useful for you. So you start by putting his name on this, his or her name, and then you're going to write down all the grievances, all the thoughts, the hurt you've experienced in a relationship. You express everything that you have been wishing to express to him, or things that you may have already expressed to him, but you haven't made peace with it quite yet. Everything that's been bugging you, the things he said, the things he didn't say, the things he did, all the needs that he was not able to meet for you, even though you know that the responsibility is not always, it's not a case of finding responsibilities or reasons for the actions of so and so, or explaining in a logical way why you responded this way, why you thought this way. No, it's all the emotions that you've been holding within yourself that you want to put down on paper. It's not an intellectual process. So make sure you are feeling as you are writing, and you're letting go, you're releasing, and you will only stop when you feel completely empty and drained and you have no more to write about. I have done this several times, and I can tell you, when I start writing, I write. Sometimes tears come down. Sometimes I'm angry. Sometimes I want to scribble. And I'm not trying to justify anything here. It's just all the pain that I want out of my psyche, out of my heart, and onto the paper. Can you feel how powerful this could be for you to put it all out there on paper? I sure hope you do, because I know for me it's been a very beautiful process, and it is not easy to be face to face with our fears, with our sadness, with our anger, all of these emotions that are very disturbing. But once in a while, we need to come up and look at these emotions face to face. And once you're drained, it would be several sheets of paper, most likely. The longer the relationship, the longer your forgiveness letter might be, potentially. And you end this way: I forgive you. Name your partner, John. I forgive you, John, for all the hurt you have caused me. That's the part where you take the decision to forgive. And then you write, I love you. And this love is an unconditional love. It's not I love you, but it's I love you in a universal, I completely love and care for you in a non-attached way. Some people call it the Jesus love. You might call it the Buddha compassionate love, whereby you are able to love somebody for whoever they are. That's what this love means. And then you put your name there, first name, and you continue. I forgive myself for having maintained all this suffering. That's right. A lot of our own suffering is us rehashing the pain, us not letting go of the pain, us holding on to things that are contradicting with reality. And that's the part where you forgive yourself for the mistakes you've made, for the suffering you've maintained here. I love me. I love myself. And I want you to feel it in your heart. This unconditional universal love. Because you're born, because you are of this realm, you're worthy of being loved. And I want you to feel it. And you can place your hands on your heart and discover the truth of this for yourself. And you write down your name here. Whew! My gosh, this is going to take quite a bit of time, so I don't want you to rush it. Do it this week. Try to find an hour or two where it can just be you, a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, and no distractions. It might need to be early in the morning for you. It might need to be late at night. It would need to be a time where you're not distracted by kids, work, phones vibrating or ringing, So once you have finished your letter, you have different choices here. You are not going to give it to your partner. That's the one thing we're not going to do. You are not going to give it to anybody where it can cause some hurt. This is a release of emotional pain, not a I hate you and I'm going to show you how much pain you've caused in my life. That's not love. That's not forgiveness. That's retaliation. But with this process, I'm pretty sure you'll feel very empty at the end of the process, and You can either burn the letter as a little ritual. Please do this safely, obviously. You can mail this letter to the universe. You can provide the real name of the person, but you have to create a made up address so that the letter doesn't get to anybody, right? And please always put this, make sure this letter is always anonymous. Don't add your own contact details on the envelope or in the letter because the letter is going to get back to you. So I've talked to some of my coaching clients about that, and they were like, oh no, I don't want the letter to come back to me, so I'd rather burn it or tear it apart, create a little ritual to remind you that this is the past. I'm tearing it up, I'm burning it safely, and I don't want any of this weight on me. In the future, you might remember, or you can even keep the letter if you want to, but please make sure that nobody reads it. It's your secret garden, and it's not for anybody else to see. In the future, you might remember the tug of past hurt dragging you down. You can either remember that you took the decision to forgive and to move on, and to not let the past impact the joy of the present moment, the aliveness of the present moment. If you remind yourself of this, this is really helpful. Or if the tug of the past hurt is too strong, you may want to write another forgiveness letter in the future to deepen the release. We all have different stories. Some of us have had some pretty dramatic traumas, and this is not a quick fix here. But I guarantee you that if you do this one time, two times, three times, you're going to feel lighter. And you might also realize, hey, there are some people in my family. There's this ex-partner. There are some friends, or I have caused some hurt that have hurt me deeply as well. And in the future, you might consider writing a forgiveness letter for them too, or even a forgiveness letter to yourself. So you see how this process is so powerful, and I hope you embrace it. And I am so grateful for sharing it with you. And best of luck with it. Please write down your forgiveness letter to your partner this week. Make it a priority. Take an hour or two. And I will see you on the next lesson when you're ready. Take care.